Personally, I believe the theme of the poem Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night by Dylan Thomas to be Do not accept the finality of death. As exemplified by the line, old age should burn and rave at the close of day, which suggests old age should be a celebration of continued life, not a welcoming of death. People should maintain their quality of life and exalt in their remaining time on earth regardless of age or proximity to passing. I chose an image of two older folks at what seems to be a party to show how one might take part or participate in that endeavor. Do not go gentle into that good night. This line, which is a reflection of the title of the poem, is also a repeated line throughout the poem, and it reinforces the message that death is not to be peacefully accepted, and is instead to be fought much like that of a foe. The line urges the reader to stave off death as long as humanly possible and continue living and existing. For this I chose the photo of a warrior battling a hydra. The hydra, of course, is a monster which could easily deliver death upon the hero. While this isn't always, or even the form death usually takes, it is the most physical form I could think of at the time, and one that I think provokes a visceral reaction in whoever sees the photo. And it also serves as an example of one fighting off their own death and not surrendering peacefully to the inevitability of their passing. Their frail deeds might have danced in a green bay. Preceding this line, it talks about people who are quoting their deeds. I took this to mean no one is immune to death. No one is safe from it. I thought the line was speaking of soldiers, and they were telling tales of their deeds or conquests in combat. And even though they do tell the reader of this, or who they tell the author of this, they still pass in the end, they still die. But I also think the line hints at an additional way of escaping a final death through the spreading of knowledge of your deeds during life and continued legacy. Another way to avoid the finality of death. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Another repeated line strongly urging the reader to reject death, even stronger than the do not go gentle into that good night line. Perhaps through rejecting its finality, by leaving a mark in history or appreciating their own life. For this, I simply have a poem with the word no written on it. This is all that it is, a rejection of death, is how I see the line. And the final line I will cover, grave men near death who see with a blinding sight. This line seems to refer to those on death's door who in hindsight see with clarity what they could have done better in life to go against the grain, perhaps make their own mark on history, or erect their own monument to themselves in the memory of mankind. But even though they see where they have failed, they can still continue to celebrate their own life without having to have left anything at all for those who follow. Even these folks on the brink of passage still have vitality and are able to use their senses to firmly anchor themselves in reality. Even those close to death, passing of age or disease, may still be able to firmly grasp their place in reality through any sense that remains. It's not limited to sight, is how I took this line. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you have a great night.